up, guys? Welcome to today's class. Super excited to have all of you guys in the chat. I've been watching you guys blowing it up, so thank you so much for doing that. Remember, number one thing that you can do is share this show with all of your friends. That's the best gift that you can give to me. I'm going to give you as much education as I can today, so let's get this room growing as much as possible. The more you guys are involved in the chat, the more this room will grow. So that's kind of what it's all about. Facebook's looking at how much interaction we have. So let me know where you're from. Let me know if you've been watching this show for a long time. If you're an OG of this show, let me know in the chat. If you're new to the show, you never watched me live before, you've just been watching the videos, let me know that too. Just write new in the chat so I can say hello to you. Hey, Rebel, what's up? Let's see, who do we got in here? Christina, good to see you. Shoshana, love that name. Unique name, I love it. Alex, what's up? Kathy, Tampa, what's up? She's excited, I'm sure I know why. Jennifer, what's up? Welcome to the show. All right, so let's do a couple things on our check down list here real quick. Let me I always say throw up, that's not what I want to say. That's not what I want to say. Let me put up this lower third here. So today, Tuesday Trim, we're live on Minerva Beauty's Facebook, also my Facebook, Free Salon Education Facebook, Free Salon Education YouTube. So we're all over the place today. Got about 1,000 people live all throughout social media right now. Love it. Let's keep it growing. So I want to say thank you to Minerva Beauty. We do this every single week on Tuesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I show you guys a different look, how to do a different haircut. Sometimes we break down color as well. We just do all kinds of new things. So thank you to Minerva Beauty. If you guys don't know who Minerva Beauty is, all you have to do is go to their website, minervabeauty.com. They're got to be the number one furniture company, in my opinion, for sure, in this industry. They're for the hairdresser for sure. Number one thing in this pandemic, when they shut the salons down, they reached out to me and said, how can we help? We want to give education. We want to do things for the hairdresser. So they reached out to me. We partnered up. We've been doing this show nonstop every single Tuesday for weeks and weeks and weeks. And we've really got a great audience going on. So I'm excited for that. So if you're live on their Facebook, let's get a shout out there. Also, thank you to Paul Mitchell, the hair company, Paul Mitchell, John Paul Mitchell Systems. They are a sponsor of this show as well. So we'll be using some Paul Mitchell products throughout to create the style. It's really awesome to have these two companies on board with this, because this is really what Free Salon Education is all about. Giving you guys education for free and having companies support it. So I really appreciate those two companies for always being progressive, reaching out, being a part of sponsoring Free Salon Education for so long. They're the best. So please support me, support them, and we'll keep Free Salon Education going. So couple things as we get started in this, and I'll show you guys the look that we're going to go for today. I think you guys are really going to love it. It's not going to take too long to cut it, which is always good. So it's a real salon reality feel to the haircut. But you guys can see behind me on that screen, that's the chat. It's kind of flowing through real quick. So all of you guys are writing a lot, which I love. But if I'm going to see your questions, the number one thing that you can do is type Q and put your question. So the OGs in the room, your job for today is there's going to be some questions that come up. We know it because we've been doing this for a long time. If you're an OG, you've been watching this for a long time, you know my few things that I need from you guys. People in the chat are going to ask where to get the tools. So please write shopfse.com in the chat when people ask so you can help them out. Also, if they ask a question and they don't put a Q in front of the question, make sure that they put a Q and just give them a little heads up. That's the best way for me to see their question so that I can answer it as well. And then number 3, we keep good vibes in this room. I see some of you guys writing good vibes. No negativity in this room. There's no reason for it. I'm not here to really embrace that. We're here to have a good time, to learn, to share, to grow a community of like-minded hairdressers that are all about learning. I don't have all the answers at all, but I'll share with you guys what I know, and you can take it for what it is, and hopefully it'll help you in the salon. And I love hearing your guys' ideas as well. So keep the room going, throw in your ideas, ask your questions, let's have fun and go through this next hour and a half together as a whole community, right? So thank you guys so much. I love seeing all of you guys. Can we get the cast button again to watch on TV? Eva, so I don't control that. So you should still have a cast button. So I'm not sure why you don't. If you're on, where are you at? Are you on Facebook or YouTube? So you're on Facebook. So here's the question. And let me make this go away. Nice job putting a Q in front of your question. So Eva's saying, can we get a cast button again to watch on TV? If you guys like watching this on TV, my recommendation is go to YouTube to watch it. Free Salon Education on YouTube. That way, YouTube's pretty easy to stream to your TV, and that would make it a little bit easier. You can still chat in Facebook if you want to, but just stream it to your TV on YouTube. All right, who else we got here? I think we're all good. All right, so let's break down this haircut. So look number, well, really, I only got one look today. Where's she at? I think I might just have to bring it back in. Unless, nope. That's not it. One sec, guys. Just trying to find, why did I make these so small? All right, I'm just going to bring it in again. That'll be easier. So here we go. So here is the haircut. Let me move her out of my face. So this is the cut that we're going to be doing today. What I love about this haircut is that it has this kind of disconnected feel to it, but it's real shaggy. So you guys could connect it more, and I'll talk about that as I break it down. I'm going to show you guys step by step how to do this. But I love how the movement of this haircut, it looks like she's got finer hair, but it still looks like she has a good amount of it, right? And then I love how it kind of peels in her eyes. That's a very, very trendy look right now. A lot of haircuts, whether they're long or short, are kind of peeling right at the eyebrow and kind of opening up in the face. So the way that we're going to go about this, we're going to do some clippering on the bottom to speed things up a little bit. And then we're going to do some razoring, some scissor cutting all through the top. And I'll show you guys how that technique works as well. I love the shaggy look. Exactly, Carrie, I agree with you. Very cool. So that's the look that we're going to go for today. I know you guys will like it at the end, and we're going to have some fun doing it. So again, if you have questions, type Q in the chat. Let's get started with the cut. So what I did to prep this haircut was section it off, obviously. So I sectioned it a little bit deeper on the side. So what I want you guys to realize is that sectioning is so important. You don't just take a section and then just start shaving it up. The way that you'll know that this haircut wasn't professionally done is basically based on how the sectioning played out in the haircut. So the image, and let me put it back up one more time. The image here, let me go. So if you look at how it kind of dips a little bit, it's got shagginess throughout the sides, but then it dips in a little bit lower. So I dip my section in. I probably could have even went a little bit more just to have a little bit of that length, because I'm going to go in and clipper this here and take it real short. So that hair is all going to fall over it. So that's what I want to be aware of as I'm working through the sectioning. Also, notice, and this is the one thing I want to really be aware of as I'm clippering, is that in the back of the image, the picture that you're seeing on the screen, there is quite a bit of length that comes down in the back as well. I didn't section away this for the length. I sectioned this away to have a point to bring everything back. I'm still going to build some length in my undercut, because what I want to do is I want to do a similar version of this haircut, but I want to do my version of it, which would be a little more salon friendly. So a little bit more scooping with the clipper to build a little bit of extra weight back here in the back that's not so disconnected, because some people will like the disconnection, some people won't. If you wanted to do more disconnection, I would just take this V and come back a little bit stronger. So a little bit more towards occipital bone here, and then that would wrap this hair in, shave underneath, and then you've got, you know, that overlay that happens. So definitely there's some options to make it a little bit more like the image, but for me, I want to do my version of it, which is going to be a little subtler as we work through it. Subtler, is that a word? I don't think so. More subtle? That could be it. Not an English major here. Not even a very good English speaker. All right. Can we buy the tripod he has? Ash Cash? Yes, you can. It's a pivot point. So everything I'm using, head and tripod, is pivot point. So you can go to pivot point. I'm not sure the exact website for pivot point, but if you Google pivot point tripod or pivot point mannequin, you will see it there. All right. Diane, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, cool. So let's get into how we're going to do this cut with clippers. So I've got my Babyless clipper. I love this clipper. This is basically the one that I use in the salon all the time. I also will occasionally use this Andis cordless clipper as well. I like cordless clippers. But today I'm going to go with the Babyless. I like that it has the click motion that can allow me to kind of shift up and down in specific amounts. So let's say that I clipper something fully open, right? Let me go to this side. So let's say I clipper something fully open, which is the blade is as long as it can be. And I think that's the right terminology. I clipper it through like this, right? And then I just want to go a tiny bit shorter. I just click it to the next movement. And then I can click it to the next. And then I know that I'm 2 clicks away from open when I get to a certain area. So that kind of helps me out as I'm clippering the haircut. So today we're going to start off. I'm going to use a 3 guard to start. So I'm just going to use a 3 guard only because I want to take the length off. She's got a lot of hair here. So I'll take the 3 guard, clip that on, and I'm going to go fully open, so at the longest point. So you see how that brings it in. That brings it closer to the blade. That's going to cut it shorter. I go out, brings it longer, so that's going to cut the hair a little bit longer. So let's go out from our doll here, and I'm going to turn it. So what I want to do is I'm going to hold the hair in my hand a little bit just to start working this hair off. So I turn the clipper on, and I'm going to come up underneath, and I'm going to go at an angle and then rock the clipper out as I get towards this parting. So up and then rock out to build a little bit of length. So here we go. I can tell you guys are hitting that share button. The room is growing, so thank you guys so much. Here we go. We go in, I come up, and then as I get to that top, I'm just going to pull out. Here we go. Pull out. So same thing, and I'll just kind of work through this pretty quick. So now, one thing I want you guys to realize as I'm coming around is now I'll go through and start trying to detail the head, right? I want this weight line to happen to start moving away. So the line that I'm creating in this haircut, let me go up here. Let's see, what side are we on? We're on this side. So the line that I'm creating in this cut is going to go, so our parting moves like this. I don't know where my blue marker is. We'll go green. So my parting is coming from this recession point up to the crown, right? My weight line that I'm creating with the clipper, I want it to go like this into the back, if that makes sense. So all my clippering is going to come up towards this point, and the weight line is going to build right here. So at the curve of the head, this is where we're going to be building the most weight. So now watch as I clipper through. So you can see this weight line that we're starting to build. So I'm going to go through. and I'm just gonna pull the clipper towards my body to extend out that weight line. So I go in and then out. And this is the length that I'm trying to create. I'll go in with a little scissor over comb. That's my preference in that area. So now imagine, I think this clipper is running out of power, of course. So imagine going through here. Imagine that you're drawing a line that's going to go straight up to the ceiling. Kind of to the ceiling, not really to the ceiling. So straight off the head. So if this is a line here, I'm drawing it straight up. So just like this. And that's going to help me build extra weight in this crown area. So I come off of the head shape, and I come straight up like that. So again, clipper in, straight up like that. And you can see how the hair starts to form the weight line because of the head shape. We're keeping a straight angle with the clipper. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side, then we'll start detailing the head. All right. So I'll hold the hair, same thing, come up and out. Hold the hair, up and out. And now coming straight off the head. So follow the head shape up. Just like that. All right. So Joel, that's a great question. I'll go over that. I'll actually come back to that question when I start using the razor, because I will use it for sure. So same thing, off the head and then straight up. Don't follow the round of the head. If you follow the round of the head, you're going to lose this weight, and you're going to have a flat head shape in the back. So try really hard not to follow the head shape and just follow straight up. So I'm just going to subtly kind of roll and start shifting that weight line up just a tiny bit. So now I can kind of decide, where do I want that weight line? And you can see it really well. And I'll start looking in the back of the head to make sure that it's symmetrical the way that I want it to be in there. All right. So that part of the clipper is good. This was our 3 guard right here. Now I'm going to switch to a 1.5. This is how I do it. Now I'm not a barber, guys. So this is just my preference to the way that I like to work. So I'm going to go a 1.5 steps down from the 3 guard, and I'm just going to work this perimeter line, and then I'll blend the two. I don't really go, if I was doing a tight fade, I would obviously do it a little bit different. But I'm going to follow this weight line all the way around using this guard, and then I'll see that little step that's about to happen. So I'll work my way around the head. Run that clipper at a little bit of an angle around the ear, up here. following around the ear. So that just takes it a little bit tighter around the head. Do the same thing over here. Cool. So now we basically got the sort of shape that we're going for. So now I'm going to go in and do a little scissor over comb work. I'm going to use my Blacksmith Fit Mizutani scissor. This was a custom one done in gold for us. It has the old school Free Salon Education logo. It's a 6.5-inch scissor. I like that for scissor over comb. And if you guys are a part of our cutting club on Free Salon Education app, so we meet. Let me go here real quick to talk to you guys for a sec. All right. Thank you guys for all the compliments as well. So is your clipper open or closed? It was open the whole time. So now I'm going to go in and refine using a longer scissor. So if you guys are part of the VCC or the virtual cutting club that we started a few months back, we meet every Monday on Zoom and we cut hair in front of each other. So if you want to be a hairdresser that gets trained every Monday with me live in a Zoom room, I can watch you guys cut hair. We talk, I answer your questions. It's really fun. It's $50 a month, so it is a monthly thing, but it's such an intimate group. It's really a cool kind of experience. Those of you guys I know there's some of you guys in the chat right now. You guys can let people know what you think of it, but we did scissor over comb work yesterday, so I'm going to do a slight touch on that. But if you want to see that full class, as soon as you sign up, you can watch all the old classes as well. So why do I choose a longer shear or scissor for scissor over comb work, right? The reason is not because I want to cut more hair. We talked about this yesterday a lot. It's not because I want to cut more hair. It's because of my reach that I get with a longer scissor. So if I use my shorter scissor here, which is my go-to, my always use scissor except for scissor over comb and some dry cutting. But if I use this guy, he's tiny. So as I work in here, not only can I only get just the little bit across here, which is only about 1.5 inches. I want to get a couple inches of hair when I'm scissor over combing. But also, if I try to reach any further in, my hand gets in the way of the comb. So I can't even reach into the interior of the comb, which is usually where I'm cutting my scissor over comb anyways. If I use a longer shear, so this is 5-inch, this is 6.5, right? When I use the longer shear, I can reach all the way into the middle of the comb without actually having my finger interfere with it. Does that make sense? So I'll come in here, I'm going to work the bone of the comb in and cut. So one other little tip was to show you guys, where's my clipper? This one here. Where's the other one? All right, let me go to this camera. Oh, I put it on the ground. Hello. All right, so here is a clipper. Works the same way as scissor over comb. You've got your comb here. It pulls the hair into the comb and then gets it into the blade. The blade's moving back and forth and it cuts the hair. It's the same thing when you go to cut scissor over comb. So if I'm here and I've got my blade up against the bone of the comb and I'm cutting like this, I'm sliding the hair into the comb, and once it hits the bone of the comb, I'm cutting it off. So I'm just working it up the head like that. So let's go into, again, if you want to hear more details on that, join the club and watch yesterday's class because it was a good one. All right, so now I've got a little bit of a weight line right here from my clippering, so I want to match up those two. You could do this with a clipper guard as well. I just like to fine-tune things scissor over comb. Just works well for me, and I'm more familiar with my scissor. So I work up the head here and cut. And then up here, I don't want to get in your guys' way. This should be better. Yeah. So right here, I lift the hair. But look, my comb, as I come up, is coming straight up towards the ceiling. So parallel with the wall. Again, starting point of the head, and then letting the head shape move away on its own, and then letting that weight build up naturally. So just right here, comb goes straight up into the air. Cutting, comb goes straight up into the air. There we go. Turn. Now I'm going to start to shift. So the ear becomes my pivot. There we go. Continuing around. So look, you could see that weight line, how it starts to go through, and then it dips a little bit, and it comes back up. I want to even out that weight line throughout the side of the head. So keep my comb at an angle. I can see the guide underneath, and I come in, and I start to remove that weight. So now, some of you guys that are watching this are not a stylist and you hate your hair. And that's where I want to start adding something into these shows. So if you're not a stylist and you haven't been able to find a good one, what I want you to do is post in the chat in need of a good stylist and put your location. And that way, if there's a stylist watching, because there's lots of people watching, they can reach out to you or send you a message that they are in your area, and then you can match up with them. Also, a good way to do this is go to stylistlocator.com, which is our website. Stylist Locator, please, an OG, write that in the chat. Stylistlocator.com, you put in your zip code, that's our website, and it connects to our FSE Now app. Maybe somebody can explain this better. It connects to our FSE Now app, and you guys can find a stylist that watches our education and is a part of our community on the app, and you guys can get connected together. You can send them a message through the website. It goes straight to their app, and they can reach out to you. You can book appointments with them. So it's a great way to connect. So I don't want you guys to feel lost. I know that some of you guys in there are just looking for better hair and can't figure it out. So please reach out through the chat. And let's get some matches going on here so you guys can have good hair. All right, working my way around the head. And if you guys are asking questions, I will look at the chat in one sec. So notice my comb is in the angle of the weight line. All right, last little bit here, and we'll move on to the top. Oh yeah, shout out to Jess. Happy birthday. She's in Australia, so technically she celebrated yesterday, but today is the date. All right. So there we go. We do have some weight line here. That depends on how heavy you want it. This is laying flat. So for me, I'm not too upset with it at this point. Now I'm going to cut into it probably in the style a little bit, but I don't want to take away too much of that weight, and I want the weight line. And the style is going to live a little more kind of up and textured, so I don't want to take away too much of it. So now, there is kind of our clipper, scissor over comb work through it. I think, feeling good. Yeah, feeling good. All right, so now I'm going to let down the top. And I'm going to wet down the hair. So here we go. You'll see the spread that happens with this sectioning. And I think you guys will kind of get why we section that way once you see it all combed out. So let me go here. She's been sectioned for a little while today, so she's fighting me a little bit. All right. Okay, so we got the hair all combed out. And I would say the mannequin that we're working with today has pretty fine hair. So it's something to take into consideration when you're looking at your clients and what you're looking to do with that. All right, so we got her all combed out. Now I want to see if there's any questions. I'll go through that real quick before I cut the top. I also know that Joel had a question for me as well, which was, are you going to use the razor today? And we're going to use the TriRazor, which is what I believe he was asking about. And then he said, what was your inspiration? This is our brand new razor tool. It's our cutting tool. We are literally almost sold out of the first batch. You guys are phenomenal with the support that you've given to this tool. It's available on Shop FSE, which is our online website. Let me post it right here. So you can go to Shop FSE, the combs, the clips, everything that you pretty much see me using, you can purchase on there. Let me get it down a little bit. All right, so this is the TriRazor. Inspiration for this tool is that I've used many razors in the past, and I wanted a tool that was all in one. It also is inspired by our logo, which is a triangle. So in my mind, I wanted to which you could see right here. That's our logo for Free Salon Education. So I wanted something that kind of played off of that and included every tool that I've ever loved using. So it's got a 100% cutting side on it. So this side will cut 100% of the hair. And then when you want to go in and texturize, you can use the 25 texture side, which is right here. Yep, 25 texture side, which is right here. And then you've got the 50% texture side, which is right here. So it's got 3 tools in one. Super simple to use. I think my, there we go. I think my lens is starting to go, which is never fun. So super simple to use this tool. I love having it as part of my, these 3 things together are literally the ultimate hair cutting trio. So I love this Sessabon comb. I love my scissor, obviously. This is the Matt Beck scissor. You can get it on Shop FSE as well. And then the TriRazor. So now I've literally got every tool I would ever need to cut the hair exactly the way that I would want it. So that's the inspiration, Joel. Hope you're still on here and saw it. Beauty professionals. I placed an order January 5th and haven't heard anything on my order. So, well, here you go. It's literally me and my wife that take all the orders. We do everything with the shipping and all of that. I know that we got one randomly back that had a bad address, so maybe, that could have been yours. That'd be random. But we've been shipping multiple things out. So what I want you to do is just send it send me an email, direct, matt@freesaloneducation.com, and I'll talk to Christina, my wife, and we'll see. I'll look it up for you. Sorry, sometimes emails get spammed or lost or whatever. So just email me and just put your YouTube name in the subject so I know who it is. And that should be good. And Joel, I'm glad you're still watching. Thanks for the question. Love your Instagram, by the way. Joel's got a pretty sweet Instagram that he's put together. So you guys check that out. If you're on YouTube, that's where Joel's at right now, and he can post what his Instagram is. Checked my address and it's good. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. All right, cool. So I'm not sure, but we'll get to the bottom of it. Just send me an email today and I'll look into it. And also, where are you located? Because that could be part of it too. I've said this before, but my mom literally sent me cookies for Christmas, and I got them a month later from the USPS, and they were gross and stale, and it's very upsetting. So the mail was a little screwed up. Hopefully it's getting better, though. All right, here we go. Does anyone know how many participants typically attend? I do, Ashley. How many people attend the virtual cutting club every Monday? Ashley, about 16. So we have currently running about 50 members, give or take, and 15 show up every Monday. And they're always pretty much the same people. We've gotten to know each other really well. So you definitely, all right, so you're in Indiana. It's an $81 order. All right, cool. Yeah, so it could be wrapped up in USPS. If you want to give me your name, I can look it up. Just email me and I'll look it up. But yeah, so what time is the class on Mondays? So the virtual cutting club Monday classes are at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so an hour earlier than this one. And we go for an hour each class. And each class is very specifically focused. That's the goal of it. So yesterday we did scissor over comb. Next week we're doing face shapes and what cuts go with them. We're not even cutting hair in the class. They're more specific professional-based classes because the audience is more specific to exactly what it needs to be. So it's really cool. I razor cut all day, my thing, feather razor. Yeah, for sure. Feather razor is great. And there's so many different tricks you can do with a razor. So this has the 25 and the 50% cutting. You can do that with your eyes with a feather razor. For me, I just like being able to just have this tool, slide it 25%. I know exactly what texture I'm creating. So it just kind of works for me, but definitely inspired by using a feather razor, using the Donald Scott carving comb, all of these things inspired my own tool. Just like everything I do, and I'm sure you guys know too, that everything you do kind of inspires who you are and what you end up becoming or what you develop or whatever come from inspirations around you. So, all right. Can you help with Quaff's haircut? Yeah, probably. I actually think I'm going to do a feminine version of the Quaff haircut coming up. I've actually started kind of working in that. All right, so let's go back to the cut. So now I've got my TriRazor. The hair is combed down. What I want to do is start creating this kind of shaggy top. So I'm going to build everything off of one point. So let's go here. Like this. Let me go to my top angle here. Super zoomed in. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. All right, so now here's our calic area. So I'm going to kind of build everything off of that. And by everything, I mean kind of the sectioning that I'm going to take. So let me comb this out. Split this here. This hair is going to kind of fall in the back. Do the same thing here. So really what I want to do is separate the front and the back at that calic area. That calic's usually where that hair wants to kind of spill over the back and then push into the front. So we'll go just like this. All right, so now I can decide, what do I want to do with this back portion of the haircut? I actually want to just connect this back portion into the rest of the cut that happened back here. So easy way to do that. There we go, front and back. It's another reason why I wanted to build up some weight with that clipper work and the scissor over comb work. So now I'm going to go in, I've got my 100% cutting side, and I'm just going to work kind of a light push with the razor. You don't want to shove the razor into the hair. It'll cut the hair right off. I want it to be nice and soft. So I just softly let this hair kind of start to bevel here in the back, and you can see how it starts to push, slight bit of disconnection, but still has that kind of like volume in the back. Right? Again, can't speak English very well. All right, so now we're going to move into the front. And I'm going to build everything in the front off of this disconnect that's happening right here. So now I'm going to take from the center, diagonal, almost like pie-shaped sections right here. And I'm going to comb everything over to the side so I can visually see exactly how I want to cut this. So right here, this, comb the hair towards me, and now I'm going to come in and I'm going to start to cut, and I really want to give myself a little bit of freedom as I'm cutting through this shape. So now we've got our disconnects starting to happen. I want to show you guys our inspiration real quick. We go here. So this is our inspiration, right? So again, it's our inspiration. It's not going to be identical. I cut this back a little bit shorter because I just wanted it to flow into it, and I wanted this to have a little bit more connection in the back. If you wanted that back longer, again, just section your first initial section lower, this top section lower into the occipital bone, and then you'd have kind of longer stuff there. All right. So now, pop this off again. Let's continue through. So again, I'm going to work through the top. We've got our pivot point, which is right here. And now I'm going to take another pie-shaped section around. And everything's going to come back to that point again. Here. Bring this hair over to that same point. So what is happening as I over direct this hair to this same point and I cut it? It's going to start building weight. Building weight is totally cool. And if this were thicker hair here, if this were thicker, then I would be going in, cutting this with the 100% cutting side, and then I would flip. And depending on how much texture or how much weight, not texture, how much weight they have in their hair, I would go texture 25 or I would go texture 50. So it would just depend. And I would take that same section that I just cut and I would run, and I'm just going to do this because I want to show you guys visually, but this is finer hair, so I wouldn't do this on my guest. I would just keep the line as is. But I'm going to take 25% and go mid-shaft to ends and just pop it, and it removes 25% of the hair just like that. Super simple, makes it nice and lightweight, okay? So now we keep pivoting. So we're basically at a vertical parting here. Now I'm going to pivot even more. And this will be the last one. Once I cross center, I don't really need to do more. So right here, bring this hair all the way over to me. It's like this. So it's coming across the face. And again, go 100. I'm going to rotate a little bit more. Now we're not getting our ultimate length in the front. This is just pushing the weight towards the front. I'm going to remove weight to then get it to hug the eyebrow. So I'm going to recut into this to do that. But sometimes you want to push weight towards the front so that you have weight to mess around with later on. So you can see how it's really starting to build up. It's got a really cool disconnection to it. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side here, which is pie-shaped sections from that center point in the top. Yeah, congrats to California. Hopefully opening up the end of the week or next week. I think it's next week. All right, so bringing this over. Again, I've got my guide that comes from the back. Pull this hair in. And I'll cut my line. So I'll go right over top of my fingers. I'm just going to start working that line, short to long. And I can really see now visually. Thank you, Alicia, if you're online here right now. Alicia just picked herself up a TriRazor. Fun fact, I see your name on my watch every time you guys purchase something. So you guys are the best. All right, so here. Bring it over direct. I'll just do a little bit in my hand at a time. I'm going to go through and cut. Over directed back, through and cut. Again, visually take a look at it. If it's the length that you want, that's cool. You can even pinch little bits if you want to take a little bit of that weight out. A lot of freedom in using a, oh, somebody else. Thank you, guys. A lot of freedom in using a razor. All right. Cool. And then here we are. We're going center point, past center parting, so this should be our last. And there's not much to cut. Clear it out. So there we go. Now look at the shagginess already, kind of built up in this cut. Now, you could do this with a scissor for sure, but you want to go in and do quite a bit of point cutting, some slide cutting. There'd be a lot of, different techniques that you'd want to do to create this kind of movement throughout the hair. I also know there's going to be a lot of questions. Can you do this on curly hair? You absolutely can. If it's extra curly hair, you're going to get definitely a different result. It's going to pop more volume in the middle. You have a lot of weight. So just be careful with what texture you play with. So wavy hair, this would look really cool because it have a nice little wave to it. If it was curly, I'd probably elevate my sections a little bit more, take out a little bit more weight to it, add a little bit more air, and just know that this style is going to have a little bit more elevation to it than it is when it's straight or wavy. So, all right, so now we've got this front. So what do we do with the front to get this look here? Oh, not that look, this look. So what do we do to get that kind of front area, right? So we already kind of have the textured layers that are going to happen. So see that? Now, the only thing that we're missing is the fact that this length here needs to come back towards the face. So how do you get a line to then kind of come back towards the face and also kind of scoop in? It's more of like a curtain fringe type technique, which is very simple to cut. So I'm going to go here, bring this hair forward, knowing that I kind of want this disconnection on both sides. So this is where the freedom of the razor tool comes in. I want, again, this disconnection kind of that comes on the sides. So it's really just this center point that I want to remove that length from. So what I'll do is I take away a section about as thick as the TriRazor, right? So right here, we got about the same width as the TriRazor. We go here, take this image away. So right here. And I don't want to comb it too much, because the more I comb it, the more unnatural it's going to be. So I go right here. I'm going to start off with the 50%, so texture 50 side, and I'm going to cut into it to remove some of the bulk from this section, right? So I just remove some of that bulk, comb it back out, and now pinch this entire section together, and now I take my 100% cutting side and I just work a quick little line. Now pinching the hair together, what does that do? If I pinch it all here, it's over directing the sides to the center, and then that allows some over direction and length to be built towards the outside. So now when we take a look at this cut, we start to see how it starts to kind of fan out a little bit in our lengths. So the shortest point is in that center, and then it gets a little bit longer towards the outsides. I don't want to cut into these outside pieces yet because I want to blow it dry and I want to kind of get a feel for where we're at. I'm not going to use too much of a brush in this blow dry to get our end result, but you could see just kind of how cool that texture is playing in to this haircut. Would thin wavy hair have a chance with this cut? Actually, Sally, thin wavy hair would be great for this haircut. So I wouldn't feel too crazy about it. Now, remember, I talked about using the texture sides and all that might be a little extreme, but all that over direction to the sides is actually very beneficial for wavier, thinner hair. So these are long. I'm going to cut those in a minute, but I want to start blow drying. So product choice today, we're going to go with Paul Mitchell Soft Style Fast Form. Thing I love about this product is not only does it give you a faster drying time, but we don't really need that in this case, but it has a nice soft hold. It's almost like a cream gel. So you can see the consistency there, like a cream gel. So I'll put that in the hair. And for shorter styles and lighter styles, so this style, I don't really want it to have too much heaviness to it. So thin, fine hair, unless you're using a thickening foam, I like going in with a little bit lighter kind of style to start. So what I'm trying to do is kind of build the wave, build all that texture into it, and then once I have that, I'll then put in other products to add texture and movement. All right. I'm actually going to diffuse for a second because I want to allow that natural wave to come in. So I go low airflow, high heat. I'll do one more thing. Really want to get that product through the hair and fight some of the frizz that might want to happen. do this combing, brushing, and then take a damp towel and I'll just kind of scrunch up into the hair a little bit, activate a little bit of that wave into it, some of that texture. Damp towel just kind of helps not build frizziness. That's what they say. And not talking Google, I'm talking people in my life have said. All right. So now I just want to get it kind of dry using the diffuser. I'm very impatient, so I'm trying to be better at that. 2021. Thank you, Fred. Appreciate that. Does it work well with thick, wavy hair? Yeah, absolutely. So, like I was saying, fine hair just wouldn't use the texture sides of it to remove weight. Thick hair, I would use the texture sides to remove weight. Now in the back here, I just want to smooth it out a little bit. So I'll work a little brush into it. Just not trying to kill any of the volume. That's really the goal. All right. Pretty much dry. Fire up my iron. We're gonna go with the Paul Mitchell Express Ion Style Plus. You guys have seen me use this. See if it'll focus. Yep. I like it smaller. It's got a smaller, thinner nozzle there. So I fire that up, 390. Just want to keep the volume at the root here. And now I'm going to go in and just work the ends with the iron, just to soften those. All right, if you guys have questions in regards to, does it need to be front of comb or hand? Shawl, I'm not sure I understand. So in regards to cutting with a razor, does it need to be in front of the comb or hand? It doesn't need, okay, so most of the time it's in front of the hand, if that helps. I don't know if it's 100% of the time, but for the most part, I would say yes. All right, so now I'm just smoothing out the ends. Not disturbing the base. I don't want to smooth out the base at all. This is just manipulating kind of how each bit of this wants to flow. Almost there. Thank you guys. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate it. Somebody said they're drooling. It's my favorite. All right. Where can I order the TriRazor? All right. OGs in the chat, can you let Merci know where to pick up a TriRazor? Shopfsc.com. Just joining, was this a razor cut? Yes, this was a razor cut for sure. It wasn't all razor though, so we did, let's hold me tight. We did do some cutting with a clipper underneath. We did some scissor over comb work, and then we finished the top with the razor. I'm still gonna do a little bit of cutting with, actually, let's use this product. So I'm gonna use dry paste. It's the Maverick product by Paul Mitchell. Dry paste. So this, I'm just gonna put a little bit on my fingertips. There we go. So a little bit, tiniest bit on my fingertips, just to work through some of the ends. So I'll put a little bit on my palm like that. And then I've got it on my fingertips, so then I can just kind of run it in the hair just to give a little bit of separation, softness to some of these pieces. And really definition throughout the style. Still probably going to cut into that a little bit. And kind of work those ends, kind of let them stick together a little bit. All right, so we're getting there. All right. We're not there, but we're getting there. So last little bit, I'm now going to work just the tiniest bit into these sections. Remove some of that weight there. Put a little bit of spray in that to have it hold where I want it. Same thing here. Just kind of cut into the blend. Now I'm going to add a little bit of spray wax. And this will really start to bring this style to life. So this is spray wax here. Nope, that's hold me tight. Losing my mind. There it is. They look exactly the same. Thought it smelled a little different. That feels better. Getting there. Keep saying that, but you know, takes time. Takes time. I love like the flow of one little bit coming one way and then the underneath kind of moving the other way and allowing that curtain fringe to kind of come through as well. See where we're at? It's looking a little fuzzy. So I'm just going to separate some of these pieces. Yeah, and honestly, guys, this is a real, somebody's saying I like the messy look without all the product. You don't have to put a ton of product into it. It would be a nice little air dry, especially if you have a little bit wavier hair to go, but you know, just adding a little bit of product in there to define it a little bit. Because you can see, as it goes in, like you can literally kind of mess this up and it doesn't really mess up the style. It's just your preference. Still want that kind of. And it gets that shag effect. Now again, if you wanted to shave this up more, have longer hair coming through here, you could do that too. Personal preference. But I really dig that shape that we pop on the top there. It really collects the volume in the center too, which is nice. Lighten that piece up a little bit. Just go in. Just soften it. Yeah. Just softening it allows it not to fall so heavy in there. So, you can mess around with it all day, really. So there we go. We take a look at our inspiration photo here. And you can see, like we talked about in the beginning, you know, I wanted to have a little more connection in the back, not quite so disconnected, which I think kind of worked out nice in there. And then the other side, we removed quite a bit of weight using that texturizing. On fine hair, don't remove so much weight with the texturizing. Just go in and let the hair it'll have its own texture because of how skinny it already is. But just that technique of pulling the hair over and sliding the TriRazor through and cutting it really creates that. And then the curtain fringe technique to pull the front together works really well. So let me know, guys, in the chat if you have questions about this. Any questions, really, about anything. And we'll kind of break that down now. We'll do a little Q&A for a bit. Let me see. Yeah, cool. So pop over here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today, the class today. It was a lot of fun doing this haircut. Pretty simple, you know, the basics of it. And then you guys can add your own twist to it. Thank you, Kristen. Appreciate it. Heather, thank you so much. Denise, appreciate it as well. Stephanie's asking how much is the membership. So the virtual cutting club. So I want to tell you guys a couple things real quick. Since you've been on here this long, just wait one more minute. Let me explain a couple things before you run. Because if you've been on here this long, then I guarantee you probably would want to be a part of what we're doing. So here's the deal. So FSE Now is our app. So if you go to FSE Now, which is right here, see if it'll focus. So here's the virtual cutting club, right? So this is all the classes. So we have yesterday's class is right here over scissor over comb. You also have, you know, all the classes that we've done in the past weeks. You can watch them if you become a member. It's $50 a month, but the new classes will also be up here when they're available. So I'll be posting the new class in the next day or two. And you'll be able to get the Zoom link and you'll have access to it if you become a member. So you just click the Zoom link. It'll take you to the Zoom room with us and we cut hair together. You just grab a mannequin or a model or whatever you want, or just watch. You could just watch too. And we do the hair cutting together. Also, it tells you the app does other things. You don't have to pay the monthly fee. It's free. And you go here. This is today's class right here. So you get alerts on that. This is some videos that I just put out recently. So my friend Ryan right there, you know, we have all different videos. These are shorter tutorials that are all free on the app. They're on here as categories. So all the past YouTube classes that we've done are also on here. Hair color videos, style videos, men's hair cutting. So podcasts, there's tons of different things on here that you guys can take advantage of. Also, one other thing, silly me, the community here. We have a community tab, and right here you're going to see all of our community and all the posts that they make. So when you click on somebody's work, let me see here. Let's go to, see who's this? Kristen. So Kristen's part of the cutting club. This is cool, random. She's got a blue check mark. That means she's part of the cutting club monthly. And if you click on her, you could see her profile. And this allows you any of the messages that you get, or you could send her a message if you want to, stylist to stylist. And then her work is all right here as part of her profile. So you guys can create your own free profile and then become part of our cutting club. So that's pretty much it there. Let me see if I can. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and you can also do our online shop from the app. So if you go to the shopping bag on the app, it'll take you to our shop. You can purchase the TriRazor right here. And just a little fun fact, if you guys made it this far in the class, I always love to give a code to those of you guys that make it this far. Just use "made it" as one word, "made it," in checkout, and you'll get 10% off an order of $100 or more. So I know some of you guys order the TriRazor. That's not quite $100. So you have to order a couple of them, or order one for your hairdresser. That's always a good gift to give them. But $100 or more, use the code "made it" and you'll get 10% off. All right. Let me see if there's any questions. The app is not available in Canada. Yes, the app is available in Canada. Adele, can you confirm that? Because I know you live in Canada, but she uses the app. So it's available worldwide. So FSE Now. And if you can't find it, so I saw a couple people say that they had the old version and they can't get the new version or whatever. If you go to, so delete whatever version you have on your phone if it's not working, and go to freesaloneducation.com and click right here. So you go to right here, freesaloneducation.com. So here's our website. And all you have to do is click on the Apple or App Store right here. So if you have an iPhone, click the App Store there. And if you have a Google phone, click the Google Play button. And as soon as you click that, it's going to take you to the App Store to download the app. So it's right here, FSE Now. It's available worldwide. We also are shipping our TriRazors worldwide as well. So you guys can order those on our shop. You ship to Puerto Rico? Yes, we do. On most things, on some things in our shop, and it'll say whether it's US only or not. The TriRazor for sure. Will this suit a round oval face? Want to go short but worried? So if you have a round oval face, the number one thing with short hair is to accent it with some kind of more square looking shape or a larger shape, right? So something that'll elongate your face. So you want to build that volume up. So I think this haircut is good for that, depending on how it's cut and depending on the type of hair you have. But having that texture and getting some volume up that way, then that's going to be the best way to do it. Let's see, especially in our Monday class. I'm learning so much. Karen, thank you so much. I love having you in the classes on Mondays. All right. So thank you guys so much for being a part of today. There's still a ton of you guys on, so I can't thank you enough for that and spending your time with me and listening to the education that we have to give. Thank you to my friends at MinervaBeauty.com. If you guys are looking to upgrade your salon, make it look a little bit nicer and not spend a ton of money, MinervaBeauty.com is the best place to go. So go check them out. Also, thank you to Paul Mitchell Hair Products for sponsoring the show as well. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We used tons of Paul Mitchell products to create this style today, and not because they're a sponsor of the show. I would have used the same amount of products no matter what. I promise you. I'll never have a sponsor of this show and just use it because I don't like it, but they're paying me to use it. That's not how it works. So, but they are a sponsor of the show, and I love their products. I use them in the salon every day, and any style that I pretty much do, I use those products. So, love sharing that with you guys. All right. How do you palm the TriRazor without cutting yourself? So, great question, Kaylee. Hopefully no one is cutting themselves, but here is one factor with the TriRazor that I would say is that it's hard to cut yourself because it's got all these guards on it. But if you have like skin that can kind of slip into the 50% cutting side, it's possible, I'm sure, that it could happen. So let me show you guys a couple tricks. Wrong camera. There we go. All right. So with the TriRazor, I like to, anytime I'm combing the hair, I'm palming it like this, right? So then I have the comb in my hand. So here's the comb. I comb the hair, and then I pass the comb over, and then I bring the TriRazor back out with my hand. Now, this can be a little bit harder for somebody with smaller hands, but that shouldn't discourage you from using it. Anytime I have trouble as I'm combing, getting the TriRazor out, I might just kind of bring it here, just kind of push it against my hand to then bring it out here. I've never cut myself palming it because it never really gets close to my skin that way. I mean, it could slightly. The only time I've ever cut myself, I cut myself one time. My finger slid into this, but that's really hard to do, and you really have to shove your hand into it. So just understand that just like cutting with any razor tool, there's a possibility that you could cut yourself, so just be careful. And I don't palm the 50% if I don't have to. So, when I am cutting like this, I'm obviously just holding it in my hand. So I'm not really touching the side. And like I said, I've never cut myself palming it, so hasn't been an issue. Not saying it can't happen, but it hasn't been an issue. So palm it back, comb, bring it back to your hand. Like that. And there we go. Will you be delivering to England soon? We deliver to England right now. So in regards to the TriRazor, combs, clips, all those things that we use, we deliver to England. The only thing we don't deliver is the Mizutani scissors because we're not allowed to. My hair is too fine and thin, and I know razor cuts make it more frizzy. So razor cuts don't really make hair frizzy as long as you're using a brand new blade. I've talked about this a lot, but not everybody hears what I'm saying. You got to use new blades, especially after a couple cuts. So like, I try to do it after every cut so that I definitely have a sharp blade. But I understand not everybody wants to change them out and spend money on blades every single time. But a brand new razor blade is sharper than a scissor, so it doesn't make your hair frizzy. What it does is it softens the ends. So for fine hair, it's actually a really good tool to create kind of a little bit of texture to the ends that can help with some styling. But the other thing that you can do, if your guests, like if you have a guest in the salon, they're afraid of razors, what I like to do is do most of my cutting scissor-wise, and then for parts I want to add that texture, I go in and I use like the texturizing side of the TriRazor. So I'll use the 25 or the 50 and just create some texture in there, but keep blunt ends on the overall outside of the haircut. So Mizutani, this is the thing with Mizutani. We're trying to work out a deal right now, but this has been forever. I promote products worldwide. Another inspiration for the TriRazor. I promote products worldwide, but I'm not allowed to sell them worldwide because everyone has old school mentalities. They're not used to a company speaking to everybody all over the world. So Mizutani is one of those companies. They have distributors throughout the world, and those distributors get mad if I sell to their customer, but it's not their customer if I am talking to you guys about it, and that's why you want to go buy it. It's really my customer, but people have old school mentalities, and we're trying to fix that. So hopefully that'll happen sometime, but so Kaylee, that's a great question. Maybe eventually, I probably will be doing something in the near future to give you guys an idea of what those paid classes are for, but they're really paid for the reason of keeping it a little more intimate, and and it's a class every single week, and it's $50 a month. So if you think about it, like I was selling one class for like $100 to do over Zoom, and so this was just kind of a way people were buying those, the same people were buying those. So I wanted to create a club to where we're together all the time. And it's really about more about the people getting together and learning together than it is just having a class. So I think you're just as good being in these classes, but if you want to take it to the next level, then you would become part of the virtual cutting club, because it just brings us closer together, and then I'll be cutting hair and I can hear you ask me a question. I can see you. I can actually address the specific thing, and the classes are a little more technique specific. So, but they're technique specific because I expect you to take all of them, not just one, because, it's all about growing. So, let's see. Would you razor every cut, or would you alternate it for this cut? I would. I don't razor every cut. So we came out with a razor, but I use scissors a lot. I use the razor maybe within almost every cut, but I don't cut fully every razor. Anise, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Adele, thank you. New tools are good. That's right. That's right. All right, cool. So people are dropping. I can tell, this Q&A stuff it's kind of boring, but hopefully I answered some of you guys' questions. Please become part of the app, FSE Now. And you can always send me messages on there if you guys want to. I'll get an alert on my phone. Also, I appreciate everybody that purchased a TriRazor during this class, and anybody that purchased one in the future, and anybody that's purchased one in the past. Thank you guys so much. Are you selling diffuser and dryer you use? No, that's Dyson. So I'm actually just waiting for my Paul Mitchell dryer. Very excited for that. I ordered one. So it should be here soon. And I'll show you guys that one. You'll like it. It has no handle, so it's pretty cool. All right. This part is the best. I know. I'm actually going to do, I think I'm going to do a live on Thursday possibly where I'm not cutting hair. I'm just doing some more questions because I just read this article about 5 haircuts for fine, thin hair. So I want to break that down and take some questions about it. All right. I love that you look on your classes. I look forward to being a part of them as soon as I can. Thank you very much. How much time do you allow for blow drying and curling iron or straighten? So Daniel, depending on the cut. So most of the time I'm looking at 45 minutes to an hour, give or take. So that's what I like to lead with. My haircuts are $80 to $100 depending on how long you've been with me as a client. So, you know, that's kind of where I like to live in that. So 45 minutes to an hour makes sense for that price point. I'll be joining whether I am in class or not. All these years for no fees is great value and like to give back to FSE. Star, thank you so much. It's so funny because I think that's what a lot of people did because not everybody comes to the classes, but there is a lot of members. But still, like I said, 15, 16 people show up every week. I'd like to see that room get a little bit bigger just because it's fun to interact with everybody. But, you know, I'm sure they like it being a little bit smaller too. So, you know, somewhere in between. I got better at cutting from your classes, Matt. Thanks, Adele. I like having you in the VCC classes. So here's Virtual Cutting Club. So here's a few things to do before I leave you guys. Download the FSE Now app. So type this in on the App Store or go to freesaloneducation.com and click on whatever phone you have and sign up. The other thing is Virtual Cutting Club right here. If you want to become part of the Virtual Cutting Club, get your blue check mark on the app and just be a part of you know, a group that meets every single Monday on Zoom with your webcam. You can do it right from your phone and, you know, just cut hair right in front of me. And we tweak it. We make adjustments. All you got to do is, if you're already part of the app, just go to the membership tab and upgrade to the Virtual Cutting Club membership. If you're not part of the app, then go sign up for the app, get the app, and then at sign up, it'll say which membership do you want. You pick the Virtual Cutting Club. Let's see. In the hair cutting club, is it focused on women's cuts? So Gary, great question. It is focused on women's cuts for the most part. We just did scissor over comb men's work yesterday. And I do have, I'm hoping that I'm going to have somebody coming in to help do some men's stuff as well, because I'd like to, you know, have more focuses so that you guys get more out of it. So some guest artists coming in to help out with all of that stuff. All right. So thank you guys again. You guys are awesome. Let me roll a little song. You guys, you know, say your goodbyes to everybody. I'm not going to just cut this off. I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking on the style as I go out. And but I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun with you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel right here, Free Salon Education. We have new videos like this coming out all the time. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks, guys.